I bet you didn't know just how deep the controversy around President Marcos Jr. really goes. Is he the most corrupt president ever? The debate is fierce, the stakes are high, and the nation is holding its breath as the truth unravels. The Philippines is on edge. In homes and streets, conversations are dominated by headlines of scandal and political drama. There's a sense of unease, as if the nation is waiting for the next bombshell. President Marcos Jr. promises unity and prosperity, urging trust in his leadership. But a 100 billion scandal explodes across screens, shaking the nation's faith. Newsrooms buzz, social media erupts, and citizens try to make sense of the chaos. It's a spectacle that captivates and divides. Estrada, Arroyo, Duterte, Marcos Sr. Their scandals haunt the present, fueling skepticism and anger. Is this the moment that defines another presidency? The world is watching. Filipinos demand answers, determined to uncover the truth, no matter where it leads. Get ready as we dive deep into the allegations, the public perception, and what's truly at stake for the nation. The 100 billion controversy has rocked the Philippines, dominating headlines and sparking outrage. At its core, alleged corruption, political intrigue, and the impact on ordinary Filipinos. But how did it all begin? It centers on nearly 10,000 flood control projects since 2022, costing over $500 billion. These were meant to protect millions from floods and typhoons. Whistleblowers allege up to 118.5 billion vanished into ghost projects, sites left unfinished or never built at all. The scandal exploded when ex-Congressman Zaldi Co. accused President Marcos Jr. of ordering 100 billion in budget insertions for questionable projects. The president's office denies all allegations, calling them baseless and politically motivated. Meanwhile, deadly typhoons have left thousands homeless. For flood victims, the alleged theft feels like a personal betrayal. Public anger is boiling over. Protests have erupted, with citizens demanding answers and justice. The nation's trust in its leaders hangs by a thread. What happens next could reshape the country's future. To truly grasp the scale of what's unfolding now, it helps to look back and compare it to the most infamous scandals in Philippine history. Each era has had its own defining controversy, shaking the nation and dominating headlines. But how does this current scandal measure up against those seismic events of the past? Ferdinand Marcos Sr. set a global benchmark for corruption, stealing an estimated $5 to $10 billion from the country's coffers. His plunder was so vast, it earned a place in the Guinness World Records as the largest theft by a head of government. The shadow of his regime still looms large over the nation's collective memory. After Marcos, Joseph Estrada was ousted and later convicted for plunder, a rare moment of accountability. Gloria Arroyo, too, faced years of legal battles over election fraud and the misuse of public funds. Even during Benigno Aquino III's presidency, the pork barrel scam exposed deep-rooted corruption, sparking outrage and mass protests. More recently, Rodrigo Duterte's administration was marked by controversy over secret government funds and a brutal, internationally condemned drug war. Each leader's era has left its own mark, with scandals that have tested the nation's resolve and trust in its institutions. If the allegations behind the current 100 billion scandal are proven true, it would become the second largest in Philippine history, surpassed only by Marcos Sr.'s record-breaking plunder. The sheer amount involved dwarfs the cases against Estrada and Arroyo, and would mark a new chapter in the country's long struggle with corruption. But unlike the scandals of the past, this one is still unfolding in real time. There are no court verdicts yet, just a raging firestorm of allegations, denials, and public outrage. The nation is watching, waiting, and demanding answers as the story develops. At its core, this is a crisis of trust, fueled by a notorious family name, a staggering sum of money, and a public desperate for accountability. The echoes of history make the stakes feel even higher. The outcome remains far from certain. As the investigation continues, the nation stands at a crossroads, hoping for justice, but bracing for whatever comes next. Two narratives clash. The government, led by Marcos Jr., denies all involvement, calling it a smear campaign. The president vows to jail the guilty by Christmas 2025, launching a public investigation and freezing assets. Criminal complaints target both allies and opponents, projecting impartiality. The government claims decisive action, blaming corrupt underlings. Critics, opposition, activists, church leaders see a cover-up, arguing the president must have known. Protests erupt, social media amplifies outrage, and calls for resignation grow. For critics, the trail leads to the top. For the government, it's a betrayal from within. The battle for public trust is fierce. What's fact? What's fiction? Proven. The 2025 budget includes massive flood control funds. Infrastructure spending has dropped sharply amid stricter checks. Zaldico and VP Duterte's statements are public record. The AMLC has frozen $6.3 billion in assets. 37 people face plunder charges. A new jail for corruption suspects is open. But the core allegation, Marcos Jr. ordering $100 billion in insertions, remains unproven. No smoking gun, no direct evidence. The $100 billion is an estimate, not a confirmed loss. Both sides fill the gaps with their own stories, and the public must navigate a fog of suspicion. The truth is still out of reach. Why is suspicion so widespread? 4 forces. The Marcos names dark legacy, economic hardship, social media, and political rivalry. For many, new allegations feel like history repeating. Confirmation bias at work. Economic pain makes the scandal personal. Stolen billions sting when people struggle to survive. Social media amplifies outrage, spreading unverified claims faster than facts. The split between Marcos Jr. and Sara Duterte turns the scandal into a political weapon. Every headline, every hearing, is a battle for narrative control. Where there's this much smoke, many believe there must be fire. Amid scandal, the administration points to achievements. Marcos Jr. has strengthened international ties, balancing relations with China, the US, and ASEAN. Billions in investment pledges signal renewed global confidence. The Build program continues, despite slowed spending. The government pushes digitalization and explores nuclear energy for long-term growth. AI and tech initiatives aim to modernize public services. Supporters say these are the real story, overshadowed by scandal. The administration's legacy may depend on which narrative prevails. As of November 15, 2025, Marcos Jr.'s legacy hangs in the balance. Will he be remembered for presiding over a historic scandal or for confronting corruption, even among allies? If the system fails, faith in democracy could collapse, deepening economic and political crises. But a thorough, impartial investigation could mark a turning point for Philippine governance. The outcome could restore trust or cement cynicism. History's verdict is unwritten, determined not by headlines but by the justice system's slow grind. Will evidence implicate the president or clear him as a reformer? The nation watches as a legacy is built or dismantled in real time. So, is Marcos Jr. the most corrupt president or the target of the loudest controversy? The answer depends on your lens, history repeating, or the hope for change. This scandal is a national Rorschach test, reflecting fears, biases, and hopes. It forces Filipinos to ask, how much do history and names matter? When do we trust leaders, and when our suspicions? The debate is about more than one man. It's about the nation's soul and its faith in truth. History will judge Marcos Jr.'s legacy, but how we respond now shapes our future. In the end, will knowledge matter?